Here we go. We're here. Oh. Okay, yeah, we're here. I believe so. Everywhere, all at once. Ben, if you're still in the chat, I mailed out your book today. And I attempted to mail out Twice Dead. Let's see, and he's in the chat. What's up, Twice Dead? So, I had a little trouble with Twice Dead's address. And, lady was boop, 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 putting it all in. And you know, Twice Dead's in another country, but I don't feel like he's that far away. They wanted 300 something bucks to mail him a book, and I was like, I think I could fly down there for that much and just hand deliver it. So, plus we had some address issues, so I don't know what it is. What's going on? I gotta figure that one out. Lady's English wasn't the best, so we were having a little trouble communicating. Yeah, okay, I just saw your Discord thing with the interesting image. I can't. That's just Twitch's thing, like their category thing. And I honestly, it's only loosely the right category. Like, technically we could do game dev since we're making a game, but I feel like when people hit game dev, they're expecting programming and whatnot, so. Vacation time, let's go. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it was on Midwest. I know you wasn't picking on me. Well, there's Cyros. Speaking of Twitch, he's over on the Twitchy side. Shipping costs to Chile are mad expensive. Yeah, well, so that was with FedEx, and then they're like, well, it's $100 through the postal service. I was like, does the United Postal Service go all the way over there? So, I don't know. We might have to figure something out there, Chili. I called you Chili again. Twice did. I guess we're just going to keep calling you Chili. That low latency is real nice. Well, I can't do low latency in 4K. YouTube said that was a no-no. So, not that I have that anyway. But actually, hang on, I might be a liar. I think this webcam of mine, let's see, Dell webcam. It can do 4K, never mind. I don't have it turned on because that does lower the frame rate. I'd rather it be smooth and crisp instead of, you know, that 30 frames a second and ultra crisp, which most people aren't even going to see anyway, so. Yeah, man, I got a fancy webcam. At least I think it's that one. I can't see the writing on there. I guess they got two that. No, it is that one because it has the right stand. Yeah. It is I again, mustache. I know. There's just YouTube. The YouTube door it's wide open. Just technically, you could be on here too. What's stopping you? See, I stepped up to the plate. Much to YouTube's dismay. So, I don't have any more Bova art to show you. He is starting on the last piece of the set of 3 we agreed on. We got talking about it last night, I think, or night before. He had some questions about the Whisper Stone. I think it's going to be a hedgehog using the Whisper Stone in some capacity. So that will be neat. Need to update your setup. My mounts push my screen so far forward, half my camera where's my head. See, my camera's always too far back. Yeah, hig hug. So excited to see that. Because he doesn't have a lot of direction on that one. I mean, granted, he had a lot of free roam with the Hollow Tongue Vulture. Like, he got to pick it, decided on being Vulture. That was on him. So the Whisper Stone, he's like, how big are they? And I was like, well, it depends. You know, they come in different sizes, and he's like, do they have to hold them, or do they tie them to the end of a staff or something? I was like, no, but that would be cool. Somebody in the world had their whisper stone tied to the end of a stick, like a mace or something. Just bonk. Is the stream only choppy on my end? Well, everybody else seems to be doing fine, so I think it's on you. I hate to hear that, though. Had to lose a mustache. Bank app's Face ID told me you ain't. Also, what's up, Blaze? Well, most whisper stones are consumable too, unless you have that. Yeah, well, that's what I was telling them. Like, I generally picture them to be kind of small, on the smaller side, because you're carrying multiple of them. But like, they can come in other sizes. So technically, it makes sense if they were like yay big, so you could put a few in your bag without weighing you down. But I usually envision them about yay big. That way, you can hold it in one hand, but you can't fully close it. And if you had more than a couple, it would greatly weigh down your bag. But proportionate clementine size, they could be, yeah. It's whatever you need them to be. But like the little short story thing I wrote, like they found an entire whisperstone slab buried underground, so they be coming in different sizes. Could have them interchangeable. Staff, after all, like Gandalf put that stone in the staff for the light. They went, yep. I kind of like the idea of the preacher class, because remember, they can recharge their whisper stones at the end of the day, or the start of the new day, so it'd be interesting. He has two, technically, but it would be neat if he had one at the end of a staff or something, or maybe just both of them up there. Doubles as a bonking stick when he's not using them. Alright, so we're going to try and clean up the board today, because the file size is getting so bloated and there's so much junk on here. So I know we don't need this. Unfortunately, we don't need a turtle picture, a vulture. Is it a bunch of whisper stones or a single one? I guess you could if you were just collecting them. Like, so as soon as you spin them, you tie them to your weapon. Imagine somebody with like... Nah, I'm gonna leave him up there. We gotta leave Jack up there. Official artwork. Somebody just collecting whisper stones. Village built on aquaria stones. The wall of whispers you mentioned, yeah. Well, there's also that place where there's a bunch of stones coming out of the ground, and all you hear are the whispers, but the stones aren't actually whisper stones in there. Don't delete the one with the mustache. Had to do it, man. Had to do it. Alright. So let's clean this up. I'm pretty sure... I'm gonna check my... You guys can't see it, but my Word doc over here. Where's corrupted whisper stones? Yeah, these are all... This is super out of date right here. So all this can go. Memes can go. Graveler can go. Yeah, that's old stuff right there. So what's going on here? The voice. This is cool comments. Yeah, we're gonna keep those. Tell you what, I'll put. Little marker on it. Summer cleaning time. Are you going to archive it? A lot of that stuff is in the Word doc. I need to find a home for like y'all's comments and stuff I've been putting on the board. No. It's not all getting thrown away. That was just old, outdated stuff, which is technically in earlier versions of the Word document. So, like, this is when we were figuring it out. A lot of that stayed the same, honestly. Yep. Bonk. And away it goes. Alright. Student. Oh man, that's super old. Mouse and scone. Wish you hadn't thrown an old David. So I'm like super, I guess anal's the word about it, about keeping all my versions of everything and never actually throwing anything away. So. Yeah, man, that's a super old one. Petrified Soul. Oh yeah, all the V1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. False words getting boomed a lot. Yeah, so this is back when right before it became the Corrupted, there was this, I had this like bad preacher class, and he was a swindler. So he was like good at lock picking and forgery and lying and cheating and all this other stuff, so. But that has since gone bye-bye. Taking for mouse and scone, that would be funny. Version control. What do you use at work, Glee, for version control? Okay, yeah, this is. I remember hanging on to this one. That's technically Corrupted Whisperstone, twice dead. I think like. Either had the idea out of nowhere or like misinterpreted something which sent him down the road of another idea, but it was very cool with all the different colored stones being things. But that's probably gonna be its own game. Own concept. Not for Moss and Stone, but it's super solid. Alright, this is all Corrupted Priest. Casting. Okay. Yeah. That's all that. We were having trouble with the stone one way back here, and we ended up getting rid of it for good. So. Yeah. If Corrupted Whisperstones had schools of magic, well, guess what? They do. So that was the thought process. You don't want my Coke machine? Little guy coming up. Dropbox and markup. They only display the current version, but you can roll back, reopen the previous one, so just a file name, not file name. V1. Ah! Dave's horrible with version control, he says. Now. I have a super legit homemade system for that. Y'all seen it? For nuts. Just call it version million, skillion, billion, bazillion. Works great. That's actually just what I put in the drive. Mine, I just do. I know there's that method where you have like a full version number, a dot, another number, a dot, and then a third number, and like the third number's what, tiny corrections or something, very minor changes, and then the middle number's small patches, and then the first number's like big huge changes. I just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, it's whatever. Chaos. Glee is organized. It's because she has 8 limbs to keep things organized with. Prefix dates using year, month, day is what I use now. That also works. Now, if you open up, so what I've been doing, I've kind of gotten in the habit of doing over the years, is I'll have. So I'll give you 2 examples. So Nuts, the ttrpg I made, as well as Moss and Stone, I'll give you 3. Nuts and Moss and Stone, as well as the book I'm working on. Siegli. Yes, Nihaimi. Sorry for this is a playset we're working on. And if you're familiar with EZD6, I actually got the original artist for EZD6 to make us some stuff. There's a couple pieces he's made so far. This is Moss and Stone, and you play as critters. Their sizes aren't accurate, intentionally so. We wanted them, we brought the small ones up and the big ones down a little bit, so like badgers and mice can run around together. But mice are still technically on the small side. Get some perks for it, but mechanically everybody's medium or whatever. So, but anyway, I was gonna say Nuts, Moss and Stone, and then the next novel I'm working on, I'll have my different file versions. Like Nuts was all in PowerPoint, so I have a bunch of PowerPoint versions, and then the novel I'll have multiple Word documents each time I go through a rewrite. But alongside all those individual projects, not each individual version, I have my brain book, and it's just a Word document, and it's just all the thoughts. And if I have a thought and need to explore it more, that's where it goes. So if I have like, hey, I found this thing with corrupted whisper stones, it's the damage isn't right. So I'll go to my brain book, and then I'll just start exploring that thought there and try and figuring it out. And the novel, it's like, hey, this guy's motive doesn't make sense. I need to figure out a reason why. It goes in the brain book. So that file it doesn't have revisions. It's just a mess of thoughts in there. And it, like, my brain book for the novel is longer than the novel. So it's a lot of words in there. I have tweaked with ED6 Homebrew a lot, working on like an OSR style survival thing. Oh, very neat. Very cool. Yeah, EZD6 it's very solid. Like, it's, once you can wrap your brain around it, it's hard. The karma is, and this came up in another stream, the karma doesn't throw a wrench in things in a bad way, but it can greatly change things. And it's easy to forget about it when you're balancing stuff. And you can't really math the karma in, because you never know how much a player is going to have or how much they're going to use, how likely they are to get it, that kind of thing. So it is a true wild card, but it can really, when something's struggling, it feels a little underpowered, you're like, oh no, this one just burns more karma or something like that. So it's fun. It's interesting. And if you're survival thing, you should, if you haven't already, Carl makes stuff. He made a playset for EZD6 called The Four Horsemen, and it's, let's see, how do you say this? Fictional historical setting? I forget the proper term. It's very contradictory, but it takes place, it's your own fantasy fictional thing in a real piece of history. And that one takes place during the 100-Year War. And he stripped out all the magic, and he added in black powder weapons and a couple other things. And when you read it, you're like, oh my gosh, there's nothing left. But then you go to play it, it's like, oh man, that's super fun. So just check that out if you haven't already, if you're looking into the survival-y side of things. And of course, Wasted World, Scotty's first playset that he made for EZD6, of course, adds some survival stuff, like resources and whatnot. You like Carl's thing? Okay, yeah. He made an add-on for it, like additional weapons and stuff, and it looks super cool. I need to pick it up. Those are your schizo pages? Yeah, they're good. Those are the things, that's the document you don't share with people, because it's just nonsense. It does look like a madman wrote it, because I'll be saying I, and then we, and then you, and that's, who am I talking to? Is EZD6 gaining more traction? You don't hear much about it since initial release. I've got the 4 books so far, but so I feel like it's kind of made its statement. A lot of people know of it, and their opinions have already been kind of made up on it, whether they like it or not, or will keep playing it. It definitely has a fan base. Now, obviously, it's not as big as Shadow Dart, But it probably could use some more marketing. I think so. Because he had that big wave at first, and yeah, like you said, just kind of wee died out. But like, the following he has is strong. So whenever he puts out something else, you know, all his fans and Runehammer fans go get it. So it might not be a huge following, but it is very, I feel like, I mean, I'm just pulling this out of my booty, but I feel like it's a very strong following. Small but strong. I say small. It's much larger than my following, but very committed, dedicated fan base. One Piece design notebooks for writing down the maze rats hack. Oh boy. Does Easy D6 have a mecha playset? So I don't know if he's still in the chat. Star Hat Sage Studio Spaceman. He keeps changing his name on me. Star Hat. I think Star Hat's the like brand name he's going by. Sage is what he is on Discord. He's working on a sci-fi playset that was to include mechs, so, but it's not focused on mechs. Mechs were just one part of it, because he has all the regular like hero pass and stuff you got to pick and the new talents. He wanted to add some simple mech combat stuff and some simple space combat stuff. But other than that, I have not seen a mech one. There he is, Star Hat Sage. Feel like it was kind of in the space to battle ACRPG, and then Shadow Dark came out and everything lost their... Yeah. Shadow Dark had... We've talked about it before. Shadow Dark did a lot of... I don't want to discount the work she did. She did a lot of work, but there was a lot of things that lined up very conveniently for her to get a really big impact. Like, she could not have asked for better timing on things. And that just... I need to play Shadow Dark so I can talk more accurately about it. Because like right now, I don't understand what the big draw is to it. I hear people say like, oh, it's, you know, simplified D&D, or it's just the good parts of D&D. And it's like, well, that was Easy D6. Like, it was what D&D I thought should have been. So, you know. Yeah, there is a big OSR thing going on. And I still have no idea what people mean when they say OSR. I know, like, old school rules or whatever, but, like, what does that mean? It's D20, or is it just deadly? You know, don't expect to survive? It doesn't have a plot? Like, what are you talking about when people say OSR? Shadow Dark is great, but all the stars aligned. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was just, she had a lot that worked in her favor very conveniently, so. On top of all the work she did. That's what I'm saying. It feels weird to say that because it feels like you're discounting her, but like there's a lot of people putting in that much work and getting, you know, a 1% return, if that. Hoping to make my mech mechanics modular such that I can transplant them into other systems. I'll stay off Easy D6 for now. I mean, ain't nothing stopping you, Wisp. If you're gonna be like that, you'll never make anything for anything. If anything, this will give Sage the boost he needs. Competition. That's what we call healthy competition. OSR is the mindset. I've seen an argument with the same D&D but simpler with Nimble. I thought Nimble was D&D. I thought it was like you had to know how to play 5e in order to play Nimble, and they just stripped it down. Or did I misunderstand that one? She's a good writer too. Well, that's good. Played some of her 5e one-shots. D20 system that is deadly is how I look. That's kind of what the vibe I was getting when people say OSR. Easy D6 doesn't have big sweeping changes. There is no Easy D6 3.75. It's crazy. Cycle of interest. Yeah. So let's say, and that's the thing, because Easy D6 works. So he can just go make an additional playset that's something different with those core rules. They don't need fixed. OSR people don't even agree what it really... That's... was also the vibe I was getting. What about unhealthy competition? I mean, it exists. I don't think that's what they'd be doing, though. OSR is trying to capture that feeling of pre-3.5. They all go different ways to achieve that. I was once discouraged from introducing Fantasy Mix because other systems already did that, but decided to not let that stop me after all. See there? OSR generally refers to the feeling of the games and atmosphere is usually grim, dark, a little deadlier, less polished. It was a joke. I know, Blaze. But it is a thing. Like, there is unhealthy competition. But these are OSR definitions. My game could be called OSR and it's diceless. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's... I kind of get the feeling OSR means a memory. Like this childhood memory that people have, this nostalgia, and it doesn't actually exist. It's just, it's how they remembered it. It's not actually what it was. Which is not a bad thing. Like, if you remember something a certain way, and you remember it being so much better than it really was, and then you go make something that is how you remember it, then you have made something great. Like, you have improved upon that thing. Old school Renaissance was what she claimed hers was. That means old mechanics and iterating on them with new design philosophy instead of throwing it all out. It keeps the gameplay style of old. See, and I have heard that description for Shadow Dark, but like, to me, that makes no sense. Either you keep the old mechanics and keep it as an old game, whatever that means, or it's a new game because you modernized it. Like, and it sounds like it's just a modern game with an old coat of paint. You know, it's like with those people that get brand new furniture and paint 3 or 4 layers of paint on it and then do the crackle thing to make it look old. OSR is inspired by older than 3.5. Back to work. Later, Dave. OSR is just becoming a marketing buzzword. It absolutely has. That is a very good point, Sage. But my game is based on 38 years of gaming experience, so it should have that old school. Newer mechanics while keeping the old gameplay loop. The more recent versions have different gameplay. OSR stuff tends to be simpler, yeah. So, I don't know. It's just... it's one of those things, you know. It's just gotten so conflated, I guess is the word. Alright. We don't need our swamp pictures. Boom, 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 boom. And I have a real map of the swamp, mostly. Definitely keeping this. Ah! Don't need to make it huge. This is my keep pile. OSR stands for one single roll. You only get to roll one die the whole game. Ah, see mustache. Definitely uses new mechanics, yeah. And that's the thing, like, there's... why would you make a new game only to use old rules when those games already exist? Like, that's the point of new games, is to make new rules and try new things, right? So, I don't know. Depending on the crowd, sometimes it feels like when people talk about OSR, it's just like, my video games were tougher back in the day and made a man out of you. And like, granted, there were a lot of games back in the day that were significantly harder than what they are now because they were still trying to figure out What's a good difficulty curve? What is too high and too low for difficulty? Well, I was watching something. Dang. I was watching a video about one of the old Mega Man games. And it was about Mega Man 2. And how they took a different design approach. And I can't remember the game they looked at. Can't remember what it was, but the person that designed that game was notorious for making games too hard because he made them challenging for him. He's like, it should be challenging to me, which was insane because I heard a piece of advice a long time ago in the video game making world and video game dev is that your game should never be hard for you because you know it inside and out. Like your game should not be hard for you. So, but granted, this was back in the NES days and they were still figuring that out. Not that it's like some kind of law or anything, but everything was new. So Rifts was a fun game. We have better tools for this now, absolutely. Hey, it's All My Die. What's going on, man? They want to pull from the olden games and add their own flair to it, which is fine. All My Die, we're trying to figure out what exactly OSR means. Nobody can agree on it. We're also cleaning up the board here. New type of Whisper Stone, we got that figured out, buddy. We don't need spider riders over here. I want to take a look at Hoover, my groundhog, who's no longer with us. I'm just driving by to chill until your stream. Oh man, am I gonna have to figure out how to use the raid feature for YouTube? If so, actually, you know what? Let's set it up now. Are you gonna be on YouTube? I have never actually done this. I think if I go to stream settings. Can I not do it after it's live? Redirect. No live or upcoming content. What's like the name of it? Search my videos? Search videos from other channels. Yes, that is what I would like. It's the stream for the end of the Kickstarter. Heck yeah. Oh, there it is. Kickstarter finale stream. There we go. I got it set. Redirect. Redirects allow you to keep view blah 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 blah. Okay. Well, we'll see if it works. I got it set. This game company is interesting. They got to do a ton of games based on popular IPs like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Robotech. Ooh. Yeah, we'll try it out. All nice. We'll see if it works. I set it up. I just have to. I wonder if that goes away because when I set up a stream, I'll grab a previous one and say copy all these details and then just update the title and stuff. So I wonder if it's going to pull that in, but since it's over, you would think it wouldn't. Since you're not pointing to just a channel, you're pointing to a specific stream. So we'll see. Reptile, I think this is all done. It's set in moss, as we say, written in moss. Yeah, bonded, trusted, ranger, mounted cavalry, scales, saddlebags, bases. Okay, so that has been moved over, so we can use that. Bugmaster. That became Swarmmaster, right? Trying to clean up this board, man. Let's see. Swarm. That's right, we gave him an extra strike. Oh, wait. Oh, that was... I'm sorry. This was that. That's right, that was Spider Rider. Okay, that goes with that page, and we did that. So let me double check. Arachnophobia we got rid of. Flexible. That's right, that became bonded. Okay, yep. Okay, so we're good. Let's let player give their lizard special features. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's on there. Yep, trusted companion. Okay, very cool. Let's see. Older video games definitely had the arcade difficulty mind. Yep. Well, yeah, they were designed to keep you dropping quarters in there. There's a reason we don't use drafting tables anymore, but we still draft plans. Yeah. Golly. I don't know how people used to use those back in the day. Palladium is a game. Oh wait, I already said that one. This tower where you make a roll to see if you succeed. You have already partially failed. Oh really? I hadn't heard that. Ben did a great video about the band of determining when you roll, and OSR has an arrow band. I've been binging your nuts gameplay. Oh man! Well, they're probably old versions. You just want me to run a game, show you how it's done? It's super easy. By design. Can we have OSR nuts? Also, I am not a big fan of the D20, and I like the way this dude might rustle some jimmies here, but the dude, one of the guys I got in the video coming up, that's where I got all these different creators and asked them a couple different questions each. One was, what was the biggest change your game saw? And his went from a D20, your normal D20, add some modifiers, to a D6 dice pool system. And he made the comment like he didn't like the D20 because it's not intuitive, and you have to give it math to make it work. And he didn't like that. Like you have to have, his words were, you have to give it modifiers and whatnot to make it do anything meaningful. And I was like, I agree. And that's why the modifiers, because I find the D20 too swingy generally, but Pathfinder fixes that by giving you insane modifiers. So it's just like the D20 to me does not work for a lot of things. When are you planning to do more video content outside? Well, that's what I was just saying. I'm working on one. YouTube wanted me to focus on streaming, which came at a good time because I was really wanting to spend more time on a video and get it right instead of trying to crank something out every 2 weeks. I felt like that was just already leading towards content instead of actually having something to say, whereas this next video, it's very meaningful, it's very purposeful. It's like, hey, well, not all of us, but a lot of us here are trying to make our own projects, so here's something that will help you. Here's some people that have hit the finish line. So I got like 5 different TTRPG creators, and I asked them, trying to remember the order of the questions, how long did it take? Did you ever want to quit, and how'd you push through? What's the one thing you wish you would have known at the beginning now that you've finished? And I missed one. That last one was the 4th one. What's the 3rd one? What was the biggest change? That's right. So, and it's to show you like, hey, this can sometimes go quick. Sometimes it can take super long. Sometimes it sits. Sometimes you have to make big drastic changes. And sometimes you make no changes. Like, there's all kinds of weird paths to get to that finish line. Trying to get more in the voice work field. Oh, I just cut the dice out entirely. Left the modifier math. Like showing on D6, 1, 2, auto fail, 5, 6, auto success, 3, 4 is roll. It's abstract, but a really good way to visualize. I have free will. I can throw hammers at stuff and I won't have to provide a reason. I don't need to watch the stream, do I? Is listening to it viable enough? Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do. I am just cleaning up the board and hanging out with you. YouTube wanted you to? Yeah, so... Hey, there's Peter. YouTube has been going around and picking certain people based off certain criteria, I don't know what, and kind of growing this creator community. And that's when they were like, we want you to join the creator community, and we're going to put you with the live streamers because we want you to do more live streaming. And at the time, I even asked the lady that reached out to me, I was like, are you sure? Because I barely stream, and it doesn't do very good. She's like, nope, based on criteria and metrics. And I was like, okay, well, sure would be nice if you shared that with me, but it's been super fun to see all the other YouTubers though, and hang out with them and swap ideas and whatnot. I just been streaming more regularly since February. February I kind of burnt y'all out because they were like, hey, they had a challenge. They were like, try and do 16 streams in February, and I was like, 16 streams. That's where Dave reached out like about midway through February, because every time I set up a stream, he gets a notification on his Discord. He's like, holy crap, what are you doing over there? I'm surviving, man. You've heard other creators say that D2... Well, there's a lot of people out there that look at their analytics and say, oh, well, clearly, you know, the algorithm wants me to do this, or, you know, YouTube wants me to do that. I was like, no. The people that work there said, hey, do this. So I can interpret the analytics all I want, but I figure they're going to know at the end of the day. And there's been some very light growth in the channel, but it's been very consistent. Like that number's just gradually ticking up, and I don't know where these people are coming from. But I did notice when I started streaming more, my videos got circulated more. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So now I want to take the care that I've been wanting to do on said videos. That way when I release one, it's like, oh yeah, you know, Scrat doesn't release them often, but when he does, they're a real banger, which puts the TTRPG reviews in a sad and unfortunate spot, because those are really easy for me to do, because they have pure, easy, concise direction, right? I know what to do. But they do not gain a lot of traction. So, and they technically don't take a long time to make, since I already know what I need to say and all that. So, I don't know. I feel like I need a channel just for that. D20 is just massive when it comes to the potential numbers, and if you're going against DC of X, then the modifier has to be big to make it matter more. Lots of other ways to do it. Yeah. Why does Tiny Man not have a bird? Because that was the lizard rider. He had to have a lizard. It's crazy that YouTube reaches out to people to change their content. Well, they weren't saying stop doing something and do this instead. They were just like, put more focus on this because we think you would do better in this area. So maybe that was their nice way of saying, hey, your videos suck. Go try live streaming. It's interesting what they're doing. Obviously, I'm not allowed to dive in too much to it because it's a closed community thing. We're not supposed to talk about it, but there are YouTube side managers, handlers. Yeah, so I have a CPM, which is a community project manager, and that means she is handling many people, many YouTubers, but like it is somebody I can reach out to when I need something. You know, if something, I go through the normal channels at first, or if I'm just really lost, I can reach out to her. And I have once or twice just to clarify on something, and, you know, she'll get back to me. When you hit a certain size, I don't know what that magical number is, but it might be size / amount of traffic. Then you get, I forgot what they're called. It's something else. Project manager. Like SPM for single project manager or something like that. That's somebody that is dedicated to you. Most dice-based systems, it comes down to 30-40% chance of success for fairly balanced systems, so under the 50-50 swing. Man, 30-40% chance of success sounds pretty low. TTRPGs is such a young art form. There's a lot of unexplored. There is. I always feel like it's not long ago, but technically it's been this way for a while. You know, the internet opening stuff up for everybody. You know, businesses had the TTRPG market for a while, right? Just because that was the nature of the beast. But now anybody can make their own and throw it out there. So. Found live streams great for keeping my current audience engaged, but not great for gaining new subs. Yeah. It'd be that way. I like streaming. I do. So I was, when YouTube was like, hey, we want you to focus on streaming, I was like, woo. Because it's easier. Everybody should stream more, Blaze. Not really. Matter of fact, everybody should stream less. So it's just me on the platform. We got these guys fixed. What do we got? Oh, this is the... We're gonna hang on to this, because that was a lot of good stuff. We will call it... Richer Hierarchy. Is that how you spell hierarchy? Okay. No, I want to hang on to that. This is more old Whisperstone stuff. Corrupted Whisperstone. Yeah. How to get a corruptor. Well, we know that. We know that. We did that. Option 1, a negative consequence. Yeah, we know how that is. Well, hang on. Negative consequences. Yeah. Yep. We went with 1. Just bad things happen. Maybe the corruption stone come in different schools of magic. Alright. It feels good to get rid of this stuff. Unmaking. Bear gonna start streaming again. You could, man. You had a better following than I did. It's because Twitch is for girls. Well, 1d6. Yeah. Alright, get rid of that. Venomancer. That is cool. Just a random comment. Dice math. What was the biggest change in Moss and Stone? Having to do the whole thing myself instead of just the world building. You imagine those folks getting a random ping after all these years? Stream more during the week, but being West Coast means that most folks are asleep. That's true. That's true. What was the biggest change? Maybe adding the corrupted Whisper Stones? That was a big... That was probably the biggest change, because that added... Like, it changed a whole class, it added a whole new mechanic, it added a whole new item, and then it had a huge ripple effect on the lore, too. So, like, technically, I guess that's an addition, but, like, it's still a change. expecting you to wake up to watch his stream. Yeah, build a European following. Pick a boon. Oh, that was a good one. Okay, yeah, let's go look at Frog Tosser in the document. He's got the frog traveler, frog friend, a pet frog that rides on your shoulder. We did get rid of you can't be crit because that was a predator ability. Instead, the way of the frog gives you an extra inclination now, or a boon of your choice. I got a comment on there. Pester's the same. Expose, sacrifice. Yeah. Okay. So that and the armor. Oh, we're thinking about 6 and then 5 with the frog. Hang on, I got some notes here. I'll tell you what, I will add that note to the document. Excalidraw had 6 on its own, and then plus with the frog on your. I think that's too much to keep up with, but I'll leave the note there so it doesn't get lost. And this is what we ended up doing. I did like Kazdok's idea. Pick a boon at the beginning of each day because it reminds you of the time. So the frog tosser is like, I remember this time. Boom, gets a boon. Next meeting. Start colonizing Europe. Well. Yeah, we're not doing that. I'll get stunned for the rest of the fight. Yep. That is already baked in. I can get rid of that one. Alright. Let me put Kazdok's note in here. New comment. Because it reminded you of the time. There we go. Alright. So we can get rid of that. Bada boom, bada bing. And this was a swarmer. Let's see. Put it right there where y'all can see it, but you can't see this document. Bug speak. I know that's a no-no. Right, Swarmer became Swarm Master. There's Scrappy the Swarm. Actually, somebody... It was Parker. Wisp. Parker played the Swarm Master last time, and it was fine. It was pretty cool. He didn't do much with his bugs, but they worked. Haven't seen Kazdok in a while. I think he wasn't in the last stream this week. I don't think. Or no, was he? It was very brief if he was. But he was for sure here last week. They keep eating orcs. Oh no. Not the orcs. Red because blood. Alright, here's this guy. We got him figured out. We know what he is. I am going to hang on to that though, because that is not in my book of book. That can go here. Alright, Swarm Master, this is done. We got that guy figured out, right? Because that became the frog tosser. Yeah. AoE attacks. That's right. That's right. And then Parker, yeah, when he got a cleave attack done on him a couple times at the end of that one shot, so he had to roll with a bane. Yep, that worked out real good. Yeah. All right. And here's the frog tosser idea. Little predator cannon. That's a frog. Okay, yeah, this is us trying to figure out Google's auto-translate. We fixed that problem. Alright, that's that. That's old news. Oh, this was like super old. We got the items figured out. Yep. Oh, that was part of the swamp. Hey, there's the frog guy. Off to start stream. See you later, mice. Abusing the Whisper Stone. Okay, I have more lore on that. Yeah, so yeah, when I started digging into the corrupted stuff, that added a lot of lore and made me hammer some things out, and like the whole relationship between the green voice and the stones and everything, so big change. Say that one of the aspects of gaming I find vexing is bounded accuracy. Your character grows stronger, but so does the difficulty, so that no matter the progression, you still have the same odds of success. It creates an illusion of progression. It does. There was a fairly old Dungeon Craft video where he talked about that. There's a couple times he brought it up, like it's at the level 1 or level 20, it's still a D20 with like this much percentage to miss, at the end of the day. So why add the fluff? And that is a hard thing to balance. Like if you're getting stronger and just the numbers are getting bigger, but if the odds are the same, like what's the point? So I like it when, and you don't see this often, both video games or ttrpgs, when you level up and you start getting stronger, you start excelling more and more and more at the things you're good at. So when you find, so it's just very simple. Let's say your fire magic gets better. You're getting better at your fire magic, and you go to the ice level. You're just blazing through that because they're weak to ice. So your strengths are becoming more and more apparent. But on the flip side, your weaknesses are also becoming more and more apparent because the bad guys are getting stronger and they're doing exactly what you did. They're taking advantage of a weakness. So that works well in party-based games because then people have to be more on their toes to do their part. I like that. That is a good way to level because it's your character is technically growing stats, but as a player, you're growing. A little easier to do in video games, but I really like it when video games, you have to get better as a player and not just... You still get the better stats, but there's still some part on you that has to get better. And not just memorize everything. Like, no, you actually have to get better. And use more tools at your disposal. Roll me an 8. Walked all the way to your campus for nothing. Dag it, Norberto. Checkers against your skill value, you'll definitely actually improve over time. Yeah. I'll be honest, like, I don't know when it comes to a TTRPG, like, vertical versus horizontal progression is the whole theme. Yeah, like, I don't... In TTRPGs, I feel like you have a more unique way to grow a character than you do in video games. Because in video games, you're locked down to what's programmed, right? Like, the numbers are there. You have to work within those confines. In a TTRPG, you can, as a character, find something that's super important to your character and to your story that the GM can make up, right? So you have a lot more... I mean, sky's the limit, right? So your imagination is the limit. Do whatever you want. But it can also be very narrow. So it's like, I just have this evil banishing sword, and then you go down into a crypt, or is this undead banishing sword, and you go down into a crypt, and it's super useful there. And that might be it. So there are different ways you can grow in a TTRPG versus a video game. Whereas, so there was one game I played, a video game. I liked what it did. As you cranked up the difficulty, it did unfortunately make people more bullet spongy. I don't like that. But it made all their projectiles faster. So like, you as a player had to get better instead of just unlocking better stuff. But you also unlocked new movement tools. So it's like, okay, I'm getting, as I progress through these difficulties, I'm getting better. I'm learning these new ways to move and navigate and dodge all this incoming fire. Meanwhile, enemies are getting faster. Their bullets are getting faster. The bosses are moving faster. They're attacking more frequently now. I like that. But like nuts, there's no leveling. There's no leveling in EZD6. So you would just like, okay, your character has gotten better at this thing. Let's just give them an extra boon. Planning to make an ability crafting system specifically for players to mark moments in the character's path. Ooh. That's why I made my game have set best line target numbers for basic challenge and make encounter. The mooks that might be annoying early game are the same. Peter's game or 100 points. They become minor pests at best. Yeah. Peter's game is full of horizontal is nice. Your aptitude becomes more broad. So freeing to commit to full horizontal. Earlier versions had a ton of vertical. Yeah. I guess horizontal is what I'm trying to say. It's fun. Your community needs you. My people need me. I must go. So, y'all made me think of something. This has nothing to do with Moss and Stone, but I'm curious of your opinions. I need some designer / TTRPG player talk here. So you remember the Mavericks to Monsters that we did, right? Where we took the Mega Man X bosses and turned them into TTRPG encounters. And the idea was to make little handouts that people could take and be like, oh, this is something I just drop in my game, you know, whatever. Whether it's Tales from Elsewhere, Nuts, Moss and Stone, ICRPG, whatever. So I was trying to give them stats, but it's like, I really hate stats in the sense like dexterity means such and such. It's like, no, it doesn't, you know. Dexterity doesn't mean anything. Like, what's that have to do with a bow and arrow? Like, that's very upper strength based. So I felt like that was, I understand stats and the way they're used for their game. That's fine. But I wanted something different that people could just look at a glance and get an idea of how this character is. You know, like, how strong are they? You know, what makes them unique or whatever. Obviously, they have their list of moves, but I had this thought this word pyramid, and the idea is top of the pyramid is well, let me just show you. Let me give you this goofy guy. If you remember, we made this guy right here, Wire Sponge. He was the weird World War guy, and he was all mutated with plants and got messed up in his mech suit and everything, right? All that stuff. So he had all that weird stuff going on. And the idea is to make this system where I can, for future handouts and stuff, that you can just plop into something else. So it's like, okay, you have his moves that you can see and everything on the handout. And it's like, oh, you can do this little whip thing and blah, 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 blah. But as far as controlling him, I was like, okay, what if you have this pyramid? The top one, oops, I cut that off. So this top one is like, that's his core feature. Like, that is the main thing. It doesn't mean it's his strongest ability. Well, might be his strongest thing, but not like, oh, this is the stat that's maxed out. This could be an ability. It could just be something about him. It could be a personality trait. Like, this is the big thing about him. And in that thing we made for Wire Sponge, he has this weather control thing going on. And then you go down to 2, and these are just more traits about him. And then you get a little less detailed, less important. And I hesitate to use the word important as you go down. But like, because this was the Weird World War, he used to be a soldier in the backstory. He's got the war history, and he's got the battle tactics and the rage. It's actually supposed to be pain-filled rage, which you will see in other versions of this. From all the mutations just messing him up. So these are things you keep in mind when you're controlling him. So if like somebody tries to punch him, you're like, well, wait, he's like robotic flesh. He's part robot. Probably won't work well. So things like that. Word pyramid for a character sheet? Okay, so I am not alone in this idea. So I was trying to figure out a fun way to put this on the sheet that got the point across. And then I did some things like this. Like that's the core feature in the center, and then as you get farther out like that. I don't know. And then I thought, well, you could just be super easy and just tab it out like that. But this is kind of where I don't know if this is a thing that exists in other TTRPGs, but I started with a word cloud, if you know what those are. I think that's what it's called, where it's just all the words, and the more important they are, the bigger they are. That was a mess. It looked terrible. So I was like, okay, but I like the concept. Something you can just look at and hopefully clearly get an idea of how this guy functions. And that way, when you plop him into your system of choice, like you could say the robotic flesh, it's like, okay, maybe he has a really high defense value in your game. If you're playing D&D, it's like, okay, let's ramp up his AC. He's hard to damage. Oh, Ben sent something in the chat. What you got there? Copy image. This is what Benny Boys just sent. Quality. Okay, so see, I like that. I actually started to get into the hexagon thing here, like this. And I thought, okay, well, we can do 1, 2, 4. Like, you just keep doubling as you go out. Yeah, Weird World War is pretty cool. So, that is what I was thinking. I don't know. Your main thing is in the middle and everything builds off of it. Yeah. I feel like I'm on the cusp of something that will work really good. Let's say, I guess I could just show you. This is all I'm trying to do, man. This is the rough version of it. Just make a little one pager. Obviously we'll pretty it up some, but that's just the raw. So So you just have the setting, like that's actually your objective for a session, and then about him in general, and then just, hey, here's some abilities. I mean, you guys helped me make the abilities. You remember those. And then down here would be the whatever. Whatever we're going to call it. The get to know your foe. Something that provides a rough at-a-glance indicator of capabilities. Yeah. A focus map. Yeah. Something like that. It's to give a GM an idea how to control and run that character, as well as spec them out, if they're playing a game with a bunch of stats. But if you're playing something more loosey-goosey, you know, you could very easily look at it and, you know, kind of, you get a bit of their physical, and you also get a bit of their mentality. So I guess you could say, like, hey, core feature, 2 physical features, and then 3, excuse me, mental features. So this is a method of making wildly applicable, usually aggressive. Yes, yeah. Because like I said, I'd like to do more little handout thingies later. This wouldn't be for a system. It's just a generic, hey, here's a monster tool. I'm trying to remember an RPG I read that has really nice example of this. One moment. Ooh. Close to PDQ. What is that? Those would literally be your stats in the game. Well, so that's what I was saying when I say I don't like stats. I mean, obviously I play games that have them, and like in Peter's game, they work very well for things like that. But when you're trying to get outside that one game, which is what I like to do, that's when I feel like they kind of start falling apart. Daggerheart has some of this with its motivations and tactics. A line that has things like abduct, steal, skirmish. Yeah, see, I like the idea of words being your character sheet. Start dipping into words of power. Where's where's Crab? Where's Krabby at? Stack could be lumber master plus 4. Yeah. And that's the thing, like as I was working on these stat blocks for these guys, I found like some were super not relevant. Like for Overdrive Ostrich, speed is super important. Doesn't have anything to do with this guy, so that's why I was like, oh, word cloud, speed, and then things around it. So, but for him, that would be a core feature. Like he's just a fast boy. 3 attributes spine for my game: physical, mental, and social, each with a power manipulation turbine. My sticky note comic RPG. Your skills are 3 signatures that you describe anyway. Yeah. Then assign D68, D10. That sounds like Streamlined Superheroes. If you saw that one. That one, technically, you have 4 stats like Dex, Strength, whatever, and then you have 4 features or abilities, but they're like broad. So, but they're D8, D10, D12, and a D6, I guess. Not your normal wheelhouse. We're gonna make him a rules light drawer yet. Oh, twice dad's learning things. I don't think you did, because you were gonna run a game and I couldn't join, I believe. Isn't that also the pub to way? I think it's close. I haven't played a just straight pub to game. I did play one, but it was pretty heavily modified pub to game. But it was that kind, and I really liked it, the way it worked. I thought it was fantastic. I need to play some more Apocalypse games. You don't know what to do with this knowledge. The burden of knowledge. Oh. I don't know. This is like, right now I feel like it doesn't work, but it's just so close to being something super cool where you could just Scrat's Monster Tamer or whatever you want to call it. So That's been eating at my brain lately. Oh, Peter's DM'd me. Oh, that's sticky notes. Okay. I thought you found the other ttrpg you were talking about. Let's see. Alright, let's back to cleaning up. Get rid of the frogs. Goodbye, frogs. Going hollow. Oh, we know how that works now. That's right. Where's that part of the board where we were talking about, did I delete it without looking? Well, a good thing I got an earlier version of this. Oh no, it's over here. There we go. The white eyes and stuff. I was like to say. Pretty sure I didn't delete that. Where was I? I haven't seen Sabbath RPG in a while. Mr. Sabbath. I have not. Surprisingly hard to design. They're hard to design well. Because you gotta walk the line between light enough and sudden roadblock. That's the guy who disappeared, wasn't it? Because I was, if that's the one I'm thinking of, let's see what you sent. I think so, yeah. So I was scheduled to play. Yeah, he just disappeared. I was scheduled, he was going to run us a game. It was me and like Dave and a couple other lads. And I got the book and was super looking forward to it. I was like, I had so many questions for him, like where he got his artist and everything, or who they were. And I was super looking forward to it, and then he's gone. I went to check up on the game. I was like, hey, don't we have a game in so many days? And the guy's not even in the chat anymore. And I think it was Wes's server, and he's like, oh yeah, that's weird. And I started checking all their servers, and he's like, he's not anywhere. And then I started hearing from other people that like, yeah, he just disappeared. All right, well, guess he owed the mob some money or something. I don't know. Well, let's see. What did you say? Shapeshifting, doppelganger, shape changer, mind readers. Yeah, I don't know what the different symbols mean though. Like you got an asterisk and then a dot. Shift appearance, mental probes. Oh, that like goes with that thing. Okay. Wants to experience new lives, doesn't want. Yeah. So I like that. That's kind of what I'm going for. But I want some kind of graphic where you can just get it. Cinematic folklore game, I guess? Because that's what you could call it. The things on the right on its moves with yeah, that's what I was figuring out. The players roll everything, so you just need prompts. Yeah. That's the way I like it. See, I tried making some stuff like that for nuts. Like it's like, oh, here's a, you give your monster like a 2-line description or whatever, and then you just have this bar from 1 to 12. Like, how difficult is it? And then I decided not to do that because I was like, I want people to do this on their own. So, Grimwild is a great game. Well, I wouldn't know. Also, here's the game that Wisp mentioned. Prose descriptive qualities. And another one. Atomic Sock Monkey. Or no, that's PDQ Sharp. Advanced version. Oh. Alright, well, I will keep those open. And then we'll have a look. Let's see. A red. That's right. Hard on an egg without breaking it. That's the thing, like, you can very easily go make a rules light system and throw it out there and then it not be very solid, but you can make one super quick and easy. And then you go to play it and then it's, you know, you can put a lot on the GM and players to make up because the system isn't working, and then you can put a lot on the GM and players to make up to let them have fun and add all their flavor because the system underneath is supporting that. I like to think that's what Nuts is, but you know, we'll see, I guess. Alright. Those were one-shot ideas. These are all our scrolls and whisper stones. I know we did that. But I want to save... I know we got all the whisper stones in there. I want to save y'all's comments so I can, like, know who did what. Woo! Gotta go way over here. More than a fruitful void. yeah, Peter, the Moss Monster river crossing. That's what we were gonna do, but that ended up being the caravan escort that you played in with all the moles and stuff. So I was saying it was supposed to be a simple one shot, and then I complicated it way too much. Let's see. This is our silly dungeon we made and ran a few times. They had to fight a stove. There's fantastic art. Good old Nuts art. Need more of. Milker the Hedgehog. Hey, yeah, you weren't in the stream yet. Sean Bova's working on the next piece of art, and I think it's gonna be a hedgehog. It's gonna be somebody using a whisper stone, and he had the desire for a hedgehog, so I was like, all right. That's a nope. Lost Priest. Oh man, yeah, that was super old. Consolation prize for not having possums. Coal Baron patron. With the oil, water, and teeth one. We played a Nuts version of oil, water, and teeth. Right, yeah, that's right. And Peter had the Coal Baron thing going on. Yeah, that's right. That's right. There we get rid of the memes. Safe zone supplies. That's super old. That's like when we first started this board. There's some Cosmosaurs. We don't need that. Old character sheets. Oh hey, speaking of Kazduck, there's a comment from him. Gotta keep that one. It goes under the Whisperstone things. Alright. I'm gonna obliterate all my artwork here. I have it saved, don't worry. I don't have this guy saved. I might hang on to him. Then we'll... Boop. Cleaning it up, man. Alright, this is more recent stuff over here. Corrupted whisper stones. Yeah, that was nuts. I haven't ran that in TFE now. Peter ran it twice, but it was just in his server, his Discord server on a stage, so it's not streamed or anything. Dead World is now 5 pages long, but 2 of those pages are a quick reference handout. That's a long character sheet for a game with no dice. Wish it had a live files. Yeah, that would be nice. Well, I tell you what, it was 85 meg, so let's go see what it is now. Because I can just hit the old refresh button here. It's down to 10, 11, really. Haven't live streamed it yet. I plan on doing a live stream series. Oh! Very cool. Very cool. Alright. We are going to hang on to these for sure. Well. Yeah. Okay. Alright, we got a clean board. Still don't know how that's 10 meg. It's awfully big for what little, I guess these images are pretty big. But... when your book is actually out. Who needs to do all that? Each of the tribal adventure writers play, but not in their own adventure, because they know the spoilers! Yeah, that means we can come prepared. Our odds of survival are higher. Oh, man. Alright, let's have a... let's take these. Let's see what Wisp sent here. Excuse me. Have a download. Proceed to checkout. I do not want the deal of the day. Download. Oh, why is it in a zip file? Open with Edge. There we go. I did that wrong. Okay, y'all can kind of see that. If I zoom in, it's all gonna get cut off, but that's fine. Definitely simple enough, it seems weird. Broken out of your stubbornness. Wait, were you stuck on a certain system? Were you stuck on D&D, Wisp? I thought you were all about other systems. Let's see. Master chart. Notably inept. Ah, that's me. Typical human capability. Better than usual. See, I didn't show you guys this, because this was back when I was trying to do the stats. And we're going back to the monsters now. Maverick stuff. I was gonna have... I couldn't decide if it would be a stat like, oh, you know, here's your strength, right? Or something more descriptive, like one of the words or something. I think this is when I started leaning towards words, because I just felt like the stat wasn't good enough. But the idea was they were going to have 3 dots. And if the dots were empty, then it was like, that, you know, you're most likely to succeed. Like, this person or whatever is not very good at this thing. If they had 1 filled, it would be a challenge. Like, it would be a fair challenge, like, but it's still going to challenge you. 2 dots was challenge with caution. Like, hey, this is going to be very difficult. You do have a chance of winning or, you know, beating them at this challenge, but it's going to be difficult, like very difficult. And then 3 was like, avoid challenging this thing unless you have some kind of advantage you can cook up or something. You know, like with the help of teammates or manipulating the environment somehow. So, I still kind of like that idea. Age of Sigma! Tags using Legends in the Mist. I don't know that one. But see, this is like where I was like, okay, well, it's just straight. Like, what is strength? Is that his ability to lift something, or is that how durable he is? You know, that's why I didn't like it. So then I was like, oh, then that could be more descriptive. I can have like his war knowledge, right? And then it's like, okay, and I still might use these. But it's like, I don't know. Whee! That's a funny looking E. And that's when I was just like, well, just let me use words, and then the GM can figure it out. Because there's this weird line, right? It's like, I want to try and get things clear, and, you know, put like these faux values on stuff. But I'm trying, and it's like I'm trying to do that for people who need that, and the people who need that aren't going to like what I come up with no matter what, unless it's a hard number for their system of choice. Whereas the people that don't need that, they're fine with just the words. So I feel like I keep trying to make something for a crowd it's never going to be happy no matter what I make. Mighty 3. Tags the game. It was, but it collected more than enjoyed. Listening to dev videos from Peter, what is tabletop, etc. seem to finally open me up to understanding there's rarely a bad mechanic, only poorly implemented ones. Bad mechanics chase you away. I mean, I could think of some bad mechanics. But no, I agree. Like, a lot of things in D&D aren't bad on their own. It's just when they're all together, the way they're implemented, not great. System agnostic stats are a puzzle. They are. But anyway, what's going on here? Intricate task. I do still like this, like, hey, no challenge, or no, barely a challenge, which means you can always fail. Like, and in my mind, I was thinking, okay, a rock has no dots filled for charisma, but if you're having a really bad day, you could probably still argue with a rock and lose somehow, right? So there's always that chance of failure, but no dots, no challenge. 1 dot, challenge. 2 dots, very difficult challenge. 3 dots. You better find another way to approach this problem. But still can be done. And I don't know. I might hang on to that. I don't know. I'm bad at making choices. A PDQ character is made up of several elements. In different games, different elements can and should be used. For example, Dead Inside uses 8 elements. Personality, backstory, soul loss, blah, 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 blah. On the other hand, Monkey Ninja Pirate Robot... I haven't heard of that one. Sounds like a good one. Only uses 6 elements. Goal, name, quantities, mojo points, challenge rating. That was the first crack. Realizing that D&D isn't strictly a bad game, not necessarily a good game, but I've come back around to why some people like it. Well, I think a lot of it's just comfort zone. That's been my experience. If you can ever pull somebody away from D&D and make them try something else, they usually like it. They'll be like, it's funny too, because they'll be like, dang, that was that was nice. You know, we just got in there and played and did this. That was really cool. And then they go right back to D&D because it's just comfort. You know, it's what they're used to. Trying something, you know, they don't want to go run the new thing. And all their buds are playing D&D. Challenge with tag-based rules is that gameplay can evolve into constant negotiation about the application of any given. Yeah, so the negotiating with the GM can be fun and lead to some humorous moments, but it can really you can get into D&D territory where it takes all day to kill a couple goblins because you're just constant back and forth. And I don't know if Glenn is in the chat, but that is something I have noticed with his Clever Cool Crazy, because everything you do, like, it's a fun system, there's a lot of laughs, and we're always joking around, but it does move slow because everything you do, well, every time you have to roll for something, it is a negotiation with the GM, because you have to negotiate, you have to explain to the GM why what you're doing is clever, cool, and crazy. And you want to do that because you can get more dice to your roll, right? Or higher value. I forget how it works. I think it's more dice. So you're constantly like, well, I'm doing this because, you know, it's clever because this, it's cool because this, and, you know, there's not really a lot of back and forth, but you have to stop every action and explain. But like I said, because of the nature of the game, trying to be clever, cool, crazy, it usually leads to funny jokes and stuff. So people are laughing, but the game is moving slow. So it's just, what do you want? You know, party game? Do you just want to sit around and have a good time, or do you like want to have this adventure? After trying other systems, I can't stand D&D anymore. Yeah, like, I couldn't. I mean, a lot of you know this. I started in D&D, and I couldn't stand it while I was playing it, and with no exposure to anything else. I was just like, if this is what tabletops are, I don't want anything to do with it. This is awful. But me being me, I was like, there's got to be a better way, and I started trying to fix it. And then, while trying to fix it, I found other systems, and it was just like, oh yeah, throw that out. Can be a lot sometimes, but I think most groups don't go too crazy with it, especially since most tag systems that I play limited to 3 tags. That was a problem with some diceless games, that's why I went the crunchy route. Crunch, crunch. Then you're just doing rule lookups. I don't know, the crunchy games would work, like if everybody has the rules down. I was watching a live stream of something by the devs and some YouTubers, and the game slowed to a crawl simply because of back and forth of the tags. And since the game is 100% tags. Yeah. I remember that someone was asking about some tags that were representation and negotiator, I think. They were like 30 message mark. Legend of the Mist. Yeah, I had to brief it. Yep. I got you, Peter. Fate isn't too bad with their tag mechanics, so I still want to try Fate, or at least learn more about it. Just because I like the dice. Anyway, the core element of PDQ is the concept of a prose, descriptive, do-it-yourself, wide-ranging quality, standing in as an attribute, advantage, merit, flaw, skill, or incapability. Other subsystems within a game, like DJ's Virtue and Vice system. In either case, should be. Oh, y'all are gonna get cut off. You can't read all of it. Qualities can help further describe your character's particular talents, skills, and flaws. Represent a broad skill or field of knowledge. Consider a character who has the quality of teacher. For some PDQ games, that will be perfectly fine. For others, too broad. Fate is a really good example of tags used effectively. Well, now I super want to play it. The only thing I know about Fate is that it has these dice that we talked about in the last stream. That's all I know. And don't people call these fudge dice for some reason? I feel like I've seen them called fudge dice. Moderation in most things for dev work. Where moderation disappears, there was likely a ton of questions asked first, or absolutely none. Fudge was the precursor to Fate. Oh. Well, was it the same dice? And then somebody took those dice and made the Fate system? Or Fate game, whatever. Yep, same dice. Okay. So that's why I've been seeing them called fudge dice. I was wondering. I learned something today. In Rain, all the arguing happens in session 0. That doubles as character creation session. It has worked well. Well, that's good. Yeah, just play nuts. That's the answer to everything. It uses fudge dice, and they also have a deck of cards. Oh, you can get dealt a hand and have to use each card before you get a new hand. Well, how about that? If you aren't hating with the GM, is it still a good game? I like the hey GM, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna run up the wall, jump on the chandelier, swing across, and describe what you want to do, and the GM's just like, yeah, sure, here's the number. I like that. Here's the number, or here's the level of challenge, whatever. Why do I have a pink dot over here? Twitch is weird. I'll say even in Pathfinder, when I was playing that with Jacob, I kept trying to be like, hey, if I do such and such and go over here and do this, can I get advantage? I want to hit something. Yeah, make 3 separate skill checks and attack. And I don't... Sometimes it baffles me why that moves so slow, because it's not that much extra rolling. I mean, you got to roll to see if you hit the AC, right? And then you roll your attack damage. But I guess, you know, the modifiers, you got to look up, double check, and see what you got to roll on. Because, like, Easy D6 has armor saves. GM rolls to hit you, and then if it's a hit, then you roll your... Well, yeah, if it's a hit, then you roll to see if your armor takes the blow. So it's like part of that. Man, yeah, sure enough, every time I played D&D, a combat would take the whole session. Like, there were so many, when we were doing the campaign, there were so many nights. Like, alright, we're about to start a fight, let's just end it here, and then we'll do that next session. Because it took so long. It's like, yeah, I know, we got another 20 minutes, but you know we're not going to finish this fight. So... And everybody agrees. It's like, yeah, that's a good way to start the next session. So, I can't imagine now, with all the other games I've played, stopping a session right before a fight because it takes that long. It's like, just knock it out, man. The thing is, that is a very short limit of enjoyment. If the session devolves to debate club table, no one is having fun. Instead of here's the number, my game says here's stat against profession. I worry that's too much. Yeah. Doesn't seem like it. Says how they want to approach challenges can lead to them gaining an advantage or resolving to. Well, D&D's combat isn't so much link as it is lack of dynamism in those fights. Long fights can be fun, but if most of it is just sitting there and processing math, yeah. Fights are often long and unnecessary. Yeah, and part of that might be hit points too, right? Because it's uneventful. Like, oh, you know, this dude's got 100 hit points. I hit him for 12. Okay. I hit him for 15. I hit him for 9. I find that very difficult to narrate as the GM. It's like, and I tried being different in some of those campaigns I was doing. I was like, oh yeah, you know, you sword came down and chopped off a piece of his leather armor or something, and we had one player, probably one or two, that were kind of confused, like, so it didn't do damage? I was like, no, it hurt him, but like, you know, big number go down. That's why injuries are golden. That's right. D&D combat is derived from war games, and it shows in the worst ways. Yeah. I don't know, and it's just like, again, with the big hit point pool, if somebody has a lot of hit points, like, how do you narrate something getting hit 50 times? I can't do it. And make it interesting. It's like, yeah, you hit him. Some more scales came off. Broke a tooth. Whereas, you know, easy D6, you have like 3 hits. It's like, oh yeah, you know, or the enemy might just have 2. It's like, yeah, that one hit, that hurt. You lopped off a whole arm. We tend to only describe final blows. Yep. Yeah, we did do a lot of that. It's like, okay, how do you end this? How do you finish it? Like, that's true. There's hundreds of damage being thrown around, yeah. And that was, you know, kind of the intent behind Nuts, right? Was like, describe what you're doing so everything you say has an impact on that roll. And it's like, yeah, I'm stabbing this guy in the arm. Okay, here's the challenge. Roll. You did it. Okay, he has a sword in his arm now. That is going to affect future rolls. Instead of, I did 1 damage. How do you kill him? A classic for a reason. Honestly, a playset for Lancer. Ooh, made me realize how bad the AOO, the Age of Omicron. I don't know. Kill D&D combat, but it was in fact a fun mechanic. The 1 square range is too short. When the range is 3 to 4, it's dynamic. Easy D6 is nice because HP means something, because there are so few of them. Right, that's what I was saying. It means that each HP can actually have concrete feel to it rather than doing 45 damage. Attack of opportunity. Ah! Is that what that is? Yeah, there's some people that really don't like attack of opportunity. I agree, they're kind of silly and inconsistent. Man, some people really get fired up about it. I feel like I tried to change that in our second campaign. I forgot what I did to it. I just tried to make it more interesting. Removing them from made so yeah. That's the thing. What is it? D&D when you're, I'm trying to remember. How does it work in D&D? Let's say if you, let's say this is the player facing this way. And this is the enemy, and he's facing this way. If the enemy leaves, you can free hit, right? Threading the needle of 3 enemy ranges, but being able to jump between them without being kicked up on is fun. Already attack systems exercise movement. If you want a game where players run a lot, moving barriers. Yeah. But that's how it worked, right? If you were engaged with somebody and they left, you could just get a free hit, which makes sense when it's one-on-one to an extent, but Doesn't it also work? If there's multiple guys around you, when just one of them leaves, you still get the free hit, which doesn't make sense to me. It's like, no, those other guys would get in the way. Modern D&D, it triggers if they leave your reach and they're moving at will while adjacent triggers. Yeah. Okay, I thought in 5e it was also if they just went past you, you could just reach out and hit them. It's only when they leave your encounter. You'd rather have a movement penalty than risk getting hit? Yeah. I'd say there is an easy D6. There's an inclination you can pick. I think it's when people run past you, you can hit them. I think that's how it works. I guess I could just look it up. Because it's also in Mosh and Stern. 5e if they leave your reach, so if they try to run by. Okay, the same thing. That's because there's no flanking in 5e. I thought there was. So specific. I thought if you had people on opposite ends of the enemy, they got like a +2 or something. Or is that one of those home things that everybody does because they like, but it's not actually an official rule? Really? Okay, so we played our first 2 campaigns like that. Oh, it's an optional rule. A +2. Yeah, because we played with that, but there was some... I learned after I did those campaigns, there was things that we did that weren't actually rules. It's just one of those things that everybody has adopted as such, because D&D on its own doesn't work. I'm looking for this inclination. You can melee attack all enemies next to you, which is pretty darn great. Checkmate. You intercept foe. You can intercept foes before they reach a target near to you. Yeah, and they cannot move away for the next round without being punished. Okay. If they try to retreat or move away, you get a free attack. And if you hit them, they cannot move. Yeah, so in easy D6, there's this inclination you can get. If you're here, the way I understand it anyway. Like, let's say you have another party member over here. Whoop, y'all can't see that. And the enemy's right here, and he tries to go to that guy. You can just get in the way. It doesn't actually say you hit him either. It just says you stop him. Intercept foes before they reach target, and they cannot move away for the next round. If they try to get away from you while you're intercepting, then you get a free hit. So that's pretty cool. You gotta catch somebody in the movement. But it doesn't guarantee, because if they just stop, then they'll fight you, and it's like no free hit. 5e optional rule. It gave advantage? What? We got the +2. Limiting an enemy's movement can either be reactive, attack of opportunity, or it can be proactive. Grapple. I feel like the internet allowed for homebrew to reach far beyond what is expected. I've been in so many tables where you can drink a potion as a bonus action and roll the amount of HP over full action, and you get max HP. That's how, see, when we played it, I think it was a bonus action. Well, I was gonna say that's how Plaguebound and Ironbound work. They're you have action points in that one, and I think like if you just use one action point, you do a quick like that, and that's when you roll to see how much health you get. Versus if you burn 2 action points, you do a full chug and get the whole thing, which I think is pretty cool. Potion drinking is a bonus. It is official and 5.5. Sometimes I tell myself I want to look at the 5.5 manual, and then I'm just like, this will just rile me up. And I'm not going to play it anyway, so. Homebrew Guide to the official book. It's just frustrating. Well, I figured it'd be worse because I heard a couple things, like some class changes. This was back when I was, early started my channel, and YouTube actually recommended D&D content to me, which it doesn't do at all now. But I was like, well, let me try and watch 1 or 2 of these things just to kind of stay afloat, apprised of what's going on. And it just sounded like they just softened everything up. And now I'm going to sound like those OSR ninnies I was talking about earlier on the stream. But yeah, it just sounded like everything got buffed. I think the one I watched was a paladin and maybe the barbarian, and it just sounded like everything got better. Better, not in the sense of gameplay wise, like, oh, it feels so much better. It's just like, no, they just got stronger. It just made me want to not DM it even more. So, absolutely wild, man. Backgrounds give you feats now. Massive power creep. Do they? How'd you get feats normally? Was it like every so many levels you got to pick one? I remember we had the discussion when I ran those campaigns if we were even going to allow feats. And I was like, I don't know. Should I not? And a couple people were like, there's a lot of groups don't allow feats because they think it adds too much. And I was like, put them in there. Everyone now starts with a background feat. They're not drawn from the same pool as regular feats. Oh. I made it so that you need certain containers to be able to draw items without provoking a reaction attack. Like a bandolier, for example. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. That's actually pretty neat. Feats can be taken instead of ability score increase. Right, that's what it was. Largely the same, and the gameplay experience is largely unchanged. Cash grab off an addition. Oh, cash grab from Wizards of the Coast? I'm shocked. Shocked. Fantasy superheroes for real, slowly heading towards Exalted. I mean, hey. That's what you want to be. If that's what you want to be. I was gonna look something up and I forgot what it was. Oh, yeah, but I don't know where it is. I remember I found something a long time ago. Cyrus talking about bandoliers made me think of it. It was some inventory system you could drop into multiple different games. But yeah, it involved pouches and backpacks, and it was like you didn't have to draw anything. But the idea was like to have these boxes on your character sheet, and it's like, okay, what could you actually fit in this box? And this is your type of pack you have. It's like, that's kind of neat. The latest non-Wizards of the Coast 5.5 book on Kickstarter's made 15. What is LOA? We're gonna go find this and make ourselves sad. Kickstarter Legends of Adventurous. Neon Odyssey. Kickstarter, why? Why do I need to verify my account? Just log me out. I don't give a damn. And it didn't open the link. There we go. 16 mil. Yeah, Neon Odyssey, that's what I found. Containers mostly as a way as Aftermath gear would probably carry the container for the sake. Yeah. They are a live play group. Okay, that checks out. The hobby is full of acronyms. But see, why? Why would you do this? Maybe I'm salty because they have $16 million and I don't. But like, D&D was made for fantasy, like medieval fantasy, right? And I will argue it doesn't do it very well, but that was, why would you take that and just mutate it so far away from what it is? Ultra viral recently. Yeah, the brand, yeah, I know, but like, it's just a money thing. They asked exhibit scroll down to the team section to see how large prizes this ain't no time. Well, yeah, I didn't figure it was, Peter. I'm sure they're plowing through that 16 mil like there's no tomorrow. But and see, like, this is, hey, there's Star Fox. Like some super cool looking artwork and everything, but it's just like, yeah, and then it's like, oh, instead of a warlock, you're a cryptid. It's like, just make your own system, man. Come on. You went through all this work to reinvent everything. Totally not Doom over here. It is Star Fox. They're wearing their inspiration on their sleeve, put it that way. Five Nights at Freddy looking hippo over here. Rainbow Road. Free playtest material. Oh man. Zero AI. I mean, that's good. I don't care about all that. All in the box. My goodness. Collector coin. That's a cool coin. Boy, they needed another $250,000 for a new subclass. That's steep. Greeble. Boy, they just kept adding them, didn't they? Books. It's 1,400 pages across 3 books. We made various leatherworks and custom items like hidden shield daggers, quiver, frog, the sheath of the belt. Let's reinvent the wheel. I'm sure it's gonna roll better this time. Yeah, that's just. Yeah, me too, Sage. And I've talked about it before, I don't know where it comes from. Oh man, is this... Wait, are these... Yeah, that's the team. That's not characters. This is what I would call overproduced. Yeah, that's too many people. And what's wild, like, this is... You got all these friggin' people... taking what already exists and just reflavoring it. Obviously, there's more work going into that, but like they're not coming up with their own system. Those are chunky books. "42 species, 57 subclasses." Yeah. It's just go make your own thing. Like, and this is the thing, like, clearly, if you have all this at your disposal, you are one of the few people in the rare position to go make your own thing and support it. But gotta chase that bag, right? Good Lord. That's too many people. It's Space Cat. I like the pug. Nope. Modern D&D books are close to 400 pages. Man, that's a big book. Everything in the set feels like they took every IP and shaved off. I was gonna say that there's... Well, I did say it. Their inspiration is on their sleeve. It's some of it was very readily apparent. Familiarity with Adventures is from their YouTube shorts. They post funny animated moments from their actual play shows. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being salty. Wish people would give me money, but at the same time, I can only be so salty because I haven't asked for any money. So, kind of yelling at the sky there. That's pretty wild. Those 16 mil just... How much did Daggerheart even have a Kickstarter? Or did they just do it? They just do it. Kickstarter, Daggerheart. That campaign is for a ton of merch. Not even necessarily... Yeah, I know. They just... Well, I don't know, but I mean, I get it. They just... I don't see a Daggerheart Kickstarter. I can't remember if they had one or if they just did it on their own. My Dead World game was 186 pages. Got to cut down to 139. Did it? Okay. Well, I was trying to find it, Peter. The original one. I assume it's still able to be seen. Of course, Kickstarter won't let you search very easily. Dang you, Kickstarter. Matter of fact, you can't. There we go. Daggerheart. Find like the original one. I just was curious how much money they raised on that one. Started streaming 29th. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's... They didn't crowdfund. Okay. Which is good. They didn't need to. They had the means to do that on their own. But I was gonna say, Sage, that's the world we live in. Like, it's not so much whether the products are good or not. It's just how good a salesman you are. It's what it feels like. You know, if you have this massive following, you can just make whatever you want. And people will go buy it to support you because they like you. And, you know, on the same token, that's pretty nice. Like, I was listening to some author. He wasn't a big old author, but he was doing all right, making a living. And he's like, yeah, build a community so they will buy your book no matter what it is, because they want to support you as the individual. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of nice, you know, just having that support. But counterpoint is that some games have really shaken off on their own merits. Mothership is a great example. I still need to play that one. I hear such good things about it. Indie devs are struggling. Yeah. It's cool that you can build a community and have people that want to support you. Like, no matter, even if your games or whatever you're making is like not that great, they're like, nah, man, I like this guy. He's doing things. I want to support him. Like, that's cool. But man, there's so many times it feels like that's what you have to do. Like, you have to make that community, and you have to be the showman and hype man. Lots of work and even larger amounts of luck. Yep. That's what it takes to make it in the hype. That's for a lot of things. Twice did. You didn't profit really at all, but 1,000 people pre-ordered the game. Basically, that's a lot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's cool. Like, you built that community, then they're like, you know, some of them were just straight up interested in the product, and some were just wanted to support you because they like Peter. Yeah, merch. I was talking to somebody about that the other day, and they're like, yeah, you, even as writers, like, you need merch because that's just extra income. I hate this world we live in. Can I just make a book? So, feel like a greasy salesman. You know, we were just talking in the last stream how much I hate asking people for simple things like, hey, you want to play this game with me? Imagine me trying to sell them merch and take money from them. Yeah, oh gosh, $350. That's so ridiculous. You just have custom dice. Oh man, it's a weird world. It is a very strange world. Once the game is there and the community is there, they'll start asking. Yep. Yep. And the question is it better to already have it available or wait till they ask? But I know, like, that's the thing. Like, nobody's making you buy anything, so if you want to buy it, it's there. We'll be supportive. Speaking of, not quite merch, but the whole support thing, I think we haven't talked about it too much, but the current editor I have, she had asked me, she's like, hey, by the way, who do you want to use for your ARCs, which is ARC Advanced Reader Copy? I was like, I don't, because she was like, what company do you want to use to print your ARCs? I was just like, I don't think I have anybody to read my ARCs. And she's like, oh. But it sounds, if I'm understanding it right, there's some company we can use where they'll print some ARCs and get them set up and shoot it out to a pool of people. So that could be neat. Gotta get people to sign up for that. This isn't their first Kickstarter for 5e. Well, I was gonna say, at the bottom of their Kickstarter, they had a Kickstarter 101 video, and it's like, why is that there? I thought maybe they just, you know, hey, we hit a 16 mil, now let's tell people how to make money on Kickstarter. Because, you know, that is also the world we live in. When you know how to do something, even in the slightest, or even if you don't know, pretend like you know. See you later, Peter. I'm about to get my lunch too. Time to wrap this up. I just want to fuss more about D&D. Oh man. Nah. Got my board cleaned up. Took that with a large cup of salt. Well, that's, you know, that's the thing. People, it's fine when they get up there and say, this is what I did. Mimic the approach if you want, but they need to acknowledge, like, this is a total shot in the dark at the end of the day. Like, there are things you can do to improve your odds, but it's still a total crapshoot. Like, but when they're like, yeah, this is what I did, you can too. This guarantees your Kickstarter success. It's like, shut up. No, it doesn't. Most honest Kickstarter I've seen was Mythic Bastionlands. Straight up just, this is for the book. These 2 tiers, I'll make nothing else. Pay at your discretion. That's what I want to do. It's just, I can't. That's what baffles me. It's like, it's kind of like DLC for your video games. It's like making stuff and then intentionally not releasing it. It's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, no, here's the thing I want to make. Either it gets funded or it doesn't. Oh, we went over the funding? Oh, well, now I will make this. I plan to make this. It's like, no. This is everything I wanted to make. It's right here. It was designed for this much content. So, you know, it's like if I did a Moss and Stone Kickstarter and it got big money and it's like, oh, I guess I'll add new species now. I'll add new classes. Like, no, that's just gonna break things. I got my 12 classes I want and my, 9 species or whatever, so. And we can do a fun, we talked about animal packs later, like some desert animals and Arctic animals or something, but like, not much to it. Take a couple of years off when you're done. Not a bad idea. It'll wear you out. You demand more classes and species. Well, that's the thing. CZT6. You can make your own very easily. It can be whatever you want. That's the other thing I don't get about D&D content. Like when somebody makes a custom class and then puts it on Kickstarter for, you know, $30,000. It's like, you know, you could have just gone and made that yourself, right? It's real easy. What do I use extra money on because you're responsible for making sure the crowdfunding goes to? Well, I mean, hey, if I say, hey, it's $5,000 to fund this and they give me $20,000, it's on them. Like, I told you how much I needed. If you want to give me more, thanks. But see, that's the thing about Kickstarter too. Like, you're not just giving money for nothing. Like, you're saying, here's $20 or whatever, and I expect to get this. So it's like going to the store, say $20, give me the book, you know? Versus Kickstarter, it's like $20, give me the book when it's done. So if I needed $5,000 and made $20,000, that just means that's many more people wanted the book. I do not owe them a bigger book by any means. I just have to make sure all those extra people get the book they paid for. Yeah, the idea that like, oh, well, this many more people bought it, therefore it needs to be this much more, doesn't register with me. But you know, I get Kickstarter's approach. Like when you have the stretch goals and stuff, people see that, it encourages them to spend more money. Kickstarter makes more money, you make more money. You know, I get that angle of it, but like, if I put Moss and Stone on here and it raised $1 million for some reason, I do not owe you anything more than what I said I was going to deliver. Like, I'm not obligated by any stretch of the imagination to add another class, another species, or anything like that. Shadow drop it. Oh man, you can't be shadow dropping nothing. Just putting stuff out there. and not telling anybody. You gotta tell the world. Pay a Squirrel Plays $10 to review it. It would be nice though if you could just make something and put it out there and it gets circulated. Not having a following, it's not worth the effort. Yeah, well. I mean, that's where the marketing budget comes in, right? You pay other people to promote it. Oh, y'all gotta aim higher, man. Come on. But I get it. It is frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating when it's D&D. If we saw Peter make $16 million, we'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, yeah, where's mine? I want some. I think anyone really views the self-promo channels. They do. They say it. At least in my server, people do. Because I have people make comments on it. But it's a quick glance, and if it's not something they're interested in, they don't click. But playtesting and promote. Hey, you know what? I meant to. Let's square this away, and then I'm gonna go get me something to eat. Where's my calendar? You were talking about nuts. We should play a game of nuts, so you can see how that does, and then run a game yourself. Plus, I just need to play it more, because it's, you know, I went through all that trouble to make it. I might as well play it, right? How about you have to have a real game first? Of what? Nuts? That's what we're gonna sit here and do. We're gonna figure this out. I think I'm supposed to get, not my whole book, I sent her off some chapters, like 5 chapters to make sure we're on the right page, and then I will proceed with the rest of the book. She's supposed to have that by the end of the week, done with her end, and then let me know. So I imagine next week I will be getting started on that. I'm really trying to hammer out a video, and it's already Thursday. I'm panicking. Run it for you with a manner coup. All right. Well, I was gonna say I will run a game of nuts. You said your Saturday and Sundays are pretty good, right? Oh, you have to have. I see what you're saying. I got you. I have Planar Crossroads next Saturday. What are you doing Sunday night of the 7th? Oh, that's just in a few days. I could pull something together by then, though, for sure. Because you played with Parker last time. I bet Parker was there, like, when Nuts first had a die to roll. Parker was there to try it out. And he hasn't seen it in its final stages. Like, he hasn't seen it since the super early stages of it. So, and I bring him up because normally me and him play Hightail on Sunday night, but I bet we could talk him into some nuts. So if you're not doing anything on the 7th, let me poke him. And I could just run a game for you too. Or I could find maybe a 3rd or 4th. Because I already know what map I can use and everything. It's all done. I ain't got to prep nothing. Hip hip hooray. Okay. Cool. Alright. Well, I'll poke him and then find a third person. Your Central Standard Time, like 7 o'clock, probably. I was, if I use a vampire map, you might want to make a crazy vampire character. I have one session where it's everybody plays as vampires. It was pretty fun. Also, I like how we only did Moss and Stone for like half this stream, and it was just cleaning up the board. These really are turning into Pirate Software streams. Maybe I'll just cut the rest of the stream out after it gets posted. Just all the stuff that was not Moss and Stone. Oh. Well, since I'm here on the record, let's see. The next thing, now I got the board cleaned up. I think I just need to play it some more instead of nuts. I need to schedule a game with Scotty. That's scary. Alright. Well, let's see if we can get a game nuts on this Sunday. Shoot me a DM with what times you're good that evening, and then I will poke ours truly. Parkour. Alright. I got too many DMs over here. Alright, I'm gonna wrap it up. We got our board cleaned up. It's very good, very happy. I think we're just down to the wire for Moss and Stone. Getting more art, more play tests, and then I got a book to write in the middle of all this. That's not Moss and Stone. Gosh, okay. Not scary at all. That's our entire board. We can get rid of that. Oh no, we got some board over there. Alright. Today is Thursday. Gonna try and get the video done this week, over the weekend, and then post it sometime next week. If it's not done, I'll be sad. We'll probably be streaming Monday or Tuesday for our normal hangout. Maybe we'll work on that character thing I was doing. And I don't know if I'll have a Moss and Stone stream next week, because there's nothing to work on, I don't think. I'll poke at it and see what's going on, but I just want to clean up the board and make sure there was no more straggling ideas. But I think we're in a super solid place, so. And I don't want to stream just cleaning up the manual. That's super boring, because I can't even do that and watch chat at the same time. So I know I've said that before, Glee, but I'm really starting to believe it. Maybe I'll find something to work on, but I need to just do the thing. So, start pestering people. I'm gonna go eat some lunch. I'm hungry. So I will see y'all next week. Maybe we'll do a Kesho night stream. Work on some Beastie Boys. Not to be confused with the band. Alright. Where's my stop button? There it is. Alright, see y'all later. Oh, wait. No, not yet. We're going to send you all over to other guy's stream if he's still going. We're going to try this out.